Welcome to another edition of Biro Sports Talk. I'm your host, Biro, as always. And once again, let's not forget Evo Retro, all your gaming needs. Yep, there we go. All your gaming needs. Got game protectors, got game accessories, great gaming merch. I love wearing the hoodie they sent me. Very, very great indeed. But it wouldn't be the show without letting y'all know once more that it's Biro. And that you can always email your questions in at any time, birosportstalk@gmail.com. And of course, follow us on all major platforms. Because, we're on all these platforms. You might as well follow us. What you got to lose? So, honestly, not a whole lot going on. Tonight, the Warriors play the Mavericks. Warriors are up 3-1. A lot of people are expecting the Warriors to make that 4-1 and go back to the finals. I mean, the Warriors are finally full strength with Clay back in the lineup. You got Clay, Steph, Draymond. Wiggins has been great along with other role players. Ugh. Not what I wanted. I was trying to find more stats. Come on, pull up the stats. But yeah, you got Steph, you got Clay. Jordan Poole has really emerged. Wiggins, big guy. Draymond, big time guy. Gary Payton off the bench. Looney switches, interchanges. Otto Porter Jr. Damian Lee. Andre Iguodala. Is he fully back? I can't remember if he's fully back or. It looks like he's fully back, so I would say he's back. Yeah, he's back. He's currently out. He's injured. What does he have? Let's look that up. But yeah, Iguodala's back. Man, they got players. They have great depth with some of these guys. They got great role players, man. And they always seem to. So they're going to be good. The one name I don't see is Wiseman. Intriguing, intriguing. I don't see his name anywhere, but if I look at the injuries, I'm sure I'm finding somebody. Because you got Otto Porter, who's day to day. Iguodala is out. He has a neck injury. That's why he's not playing today for Game 5. Gary Payton, the second, listed as out on May 20th for at least a week with an elbow injury. And then Wiseman has been out since May 9th. He has a knee injury and is expected to play in the Summer League. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm expecting the Warriors actually to close it out. I would not be surprised though if like the Mavs get one more somewhere. I just don't see this game, which makes it 4-1 over. But on the Eastern side of the NBA Finals, Celtics are on the verge. And tomorrow night, Friday night, we got Heat at Boston. 3-2 lead for Boston. I think Boston closes it out. We are at Boston. And their games have been blowouts, though, man. For some reason, the Heat and the Celtics going back and forth. Blowout. 13-point win. 20-point win. Ooh, there was a 6-point win, I suppose, but yeah, they just got to get something going if you're the Heat. I see the Celtics finally clinching it, finally jumping that hurdle, essentially. Tatum's been doing it all postseason. You get Jaylen Brown in the mix, doing his thing. Let's actually look at the most recent game. This was not the most recent game I'm looking at. There's the most recent game. If it will let me. There we go. Most recent game. They won 93-80 last night. Tatum off for 22. Jaylen Brown 25. Al Horford got 16. Marcus Smart played well. Who's R. Williams? I know Grant Williams was a story before, and he has not. He's been hitting, but not as much as Robert Williams. There it is. Robert Williams. Grant Williams. Ooh, who's? Oh, I know this guy. Derek White. That's who I thought it was. Derek White off the bench with 14. Not bad. They have guys though. They have solid guys in the starting lineup and decent guys who can plug in off the bench. However, when you look at the Heat, I mean, you got Victor Oladipo. You should do a lot better. You got Duncan Robinson. You got Martin. Is that Curtis? Caleb Martin. Okay. But like I said, they have guys that they should do a lot better. They were off last game at home. Ouch. So yeah, the Heat really need this one to stay alive. I'm going to predict the Celtics end it. We have Celtics, Warriors in the finals. I'll probably be wrong. I'm usually am when it comes to the NBA. But nonetheless, how's everybody doing out there? I was going to say, I don't see much else. So what else is going on in the world of sports? We'll look at baseball, because we always look at baseball. I mean, usually we just go over standings. We don't talk much about anything else. Because baseball's... How do I describe it? Baseball was like... It's like a... I love playing it. I used to love watching it, but now it's... I can't watch it now. But, here we go. So, AL East, the Yankees are in first place with a 31-13 record. Rays are 4.5 back. Blue Jays, 7.5. 10.5 are the Red Sox. And, of course, the Orioles are last. In the AL Central, the Twins are in first right now at 27-17. White Sox at 4.5, still above 500. The Guardians, I still want to call them the Indians, but the Guardians are at 7. Tigers are at 11.5, and the Royals at 12. You look down in the AL West right now, the Astros are in first. With the Angels 2 games back, Rangers 8.5, Athletics 10.5, and Seattle Mariners 11. And the NL, we'll start with the East, because we always go East, Central, and then West. The New York Mets are in first, 29-17. 7 games back are the Braves, 8. The Phillies, Marlins 9, and Nationals 13.5. The Brewers lead the Central at 28-16. Cardinals 3.5 back, Pirates 9.5, Cubs 10, and the Reds at 14, which is the largest deficit. Reds, however, doing okay, 14-30. I mean, tied for the lowest win total. tied for the most losses. But they've been on a 2-game win streak. 5-5 of their last 10. They'll do better than what a lot of us would expect, honestly. The NL West, though, you got the Dodgers. And then a game and a half back, you got the Padres. 5 games back, the Giants. You got the Diamondbacks. 7 back. And then the Rockies, who last time I believe I did this, they were 3rd in the division. And now they're 9 games back, last in the division. Ouch. But when we look at the wild cards, you got the Padres as the top wild card, Cardinals and Giants as the next 2 in the National League, Diamondbacks right there at 2 games back. In the American League, you got the Rays and Angels, solid in the wild card. Blue Jays in that last spot. White Sox only a game back. Even the Red Sox are kind of right there. It's all kind of in the mix, kind of looking at it. You know. I feel like I'm leaning in a lot. It's okay. Trying to lean in, talk. Just talking. I know Colin Kaepernick had his first workout with the NFL in a long time. First known workout, since he last played in 2016. Obviously, the Raiders are going to keep Carr. He worked out for the Raiders, probably more for like a backup role. However, I think Jarrett Stidham, Nick Mullins, and even undrafted rookie Chase Garbers. I don't think the Raiders are the place for Cap, but I do think Seattle might take a look. Seeing the Raiders give interest in Kaepernick might allow the Seahawks to give more look into him further. Because again, doesn't hurt to take a look at him. It's just a workout. It's nothing serious. But yeah, that's pretty much what they're all saying. It is what it is, as some would say. It was just a workout. It'll be intriguing. Zion is cleared to play next season already without restrictions, which is what everyone wanted. I personally hope Zion will work out, get game shape. He's only played 85 games in 3 years. Like, this whole year, I really wanted him to come back this year, and it just didn't happen, which is disappointing. But I think him gelling with Ingram, gelling with McCollum, I think it will be great. They'll be a good team next year. So, the Saints are expecting Michael Thomas to be back for camp. Always fun, always great. But because we're kind of at a weird in-between, we're not quite in the NBA Finals, we're not quite doing much with football anymore, not doing much with anything else. We'll talk about the NBA. The NBA draft, that is. So, if we go by best available, we're just going to go by their best available. Which, this would be my number 1 as well. And I mean it. It makes no sense to me to go with who was projected as number 1. Chet Holmgren Kid from Gonzaga. I mean, the only debate I would have would be Chet Holmgren and Palio Panchero. When I watched Jabari Smith, I wasn't impressed, honestly. Just wasn't impressed. He showed up for the game. He did. I'll give him that. He showed up for the game. Because I'm gonna look this game up, his last college game, because you gotta look up his last college game. I know Panchero, Holmgren both showed up for their last game. His last game though, against the Hurricane, 10 points. 15 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks, all good, but 10 points. He didn't score. He didn't shoot, which is what's still crazy for me to think about. I did not like that he didn't shoot the ball at all for that game. He's the guy who's supposed to take it over. He's the guy who's supposed to get you at least 20. And that game specifically, we're just going to pull that up. Pull that game up. It's one bad game. I get it. Dude was just 3 of 16, 1 of 8, 3 of 6 from the free throw line. Just struggling. Was not his day. In a 79-61 blowout. Even if he got his other 10 points, they would have lost. But of course, now you look at the other two, Chet and Paulo. Banchero showed up with 20 in his last game. 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. I mean, he showed up. He's not a passer. He's not going to distribute. He's not essentially a small forward, which Jabari Smith is essentially a tweener between small forward and power forward. Panchero is going to be your power forward. Stretch, but power forward. Homegrown, he's listed as a center and power forward. I mean, you'd rather be called a power forward than a center. But when I look at Holmgren's games, I looked at them differently. Because you knew they were trying to get Timmy involved. You knew they were going to go away from Holmgren for the older Timmy. But Holmgren's shooting 50%. He had 11 points. I think I saw 14 boards. Was that right? 14? Yep, 14 boards. Timmy had 25 that game. Strother had 12. But that's what I'm saying. Like, Holmgren shot 9 shots. Timmy had 19 shots. If you give 10 of those shots, I think then you would have Holmgren doing that much better. Kid's thin. Kid needs to thicken up a little bit, but he will. He will. He'll be good. I believe he'll be good. So if I were the teams drafting, because I want rounds, man. Tell me who's where. Click the wrong thing. Sorry. So the Magic are first. It would just be the biggest story to pick Chet Holmgren, match him up with Jalen Suggs that they picked up last year. Because if you haven't heard, those two were teammates back in 3rd grade. And they won 2 state championships together. Followed by, they both went to Gonzaga. It would be a wholesome home story. Excuse me. And then if I was OKC, I'd go Ponchero for sure. Their second pick, Ponchero. Those are the two guys I would rotate. I'd let the Rockets land with Jabari Smith. That's just my personal opinion. The Kings, I think they would go Keegan Murray because they don't really need another point guard. And from there, you got people all over the place. Like I'm seeing E.J. Liddell, I'm seeing Malachi Branham, Mark Williams, A.J. Griffin. Seeing some talented names. Of course, I'm going to mention the two teams I follow in college basketball. Of course, I'm going to. Trevor Keels, which I'm still surprised he left. Wendell Moore Jr. There's some names. There's Toledo Kid, Ryan Rollins. But it's all interesting. It's all be intriguing to see where people go. We'll get more into it when it's more that time of year. It's going to be more June, like it always is. Speaking of which, though, what was I looking at? I was looking at something. Now I got to try to figure it out in my brain. Oh, yeah. So the big name from the last class, he wasn't number one only because he went early. He would have been number one in the class that's coming out. But Imani Bates, kid from Ypsilanti, Michigan, talented kid, lackluster year for Memphis. He went from playing to not playing. Did he ever find a place? I still can't remember. I'm going to look it up again. Imani Bates transfer. There we go. No. I don't think he's made a decision yet on the transfer portal yet. Yeah, mid-June's when a lot of people are thinking. That's interesting. I could see mid-June for a decision by Imani Bates. Here's the teams they're talking. They trimmed it down to about 6. Michigan. I could see Michigan. Eastern Michigan. Which I think is more just because that's his hometown. Louisville, Arkansas, Seton Hall, and DePaul. Thing about Ypsilanti is Ypsilanti is right beside Ann Arbor. When you drive to Ypsilanti, you're basically going to Michigan. So, just saying. Sorry, I'm now looking at maps for no reason. So, with that in mind, I could see going home, but I think Ypsilanti's just because that's where he's from. He's probably would pick Michigan before Eastern. I would be shocked if he went to Eastern Michigan. Not to, I say that probably in the nicest way. I laugh because, as I've told my brother many times, who actually went to Eastern Michigan, Eastern Michigan is usually a team that doesn't win. Doesn't matter what the sport is. Or at least the two that I care about. Because I'm looking at Eastern right now. can't even. If I were them, wouldn't even know when the last time they did make the tournament. Page not found for tournament history on Eastern Michigan. Ouch. Ouch. Also don't know why. Why is it like .8? That was weird. It had like Australia for some reason. It's kind of weird. So you're 10-21. The year before, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a lot of losses. Yeah, they did okay in the year that doesn't count, essentially. COVID 2020. They won a lot early. I'm reading it wrong. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. They were 16-16 in 2020. 2019, they were 15-17. They're 500 at best. There's a 21-12 year in 2017-2018, but they went to the CIT. So now that I'm not randomly on like an Australian... Come on, man. Now that we're not like... No. Yeah, see, they actually show it. Yeah. Let's see. Does it show? It doesn't show when they last made the tournament. Nope. It does not. Eastern Michigan. I don't know why we're like going down this rabbit hole, because the whole point is Eastern is not a team that I see Amani Bates going to. The fact that I just filled in college basketball at the last second almost. Just for this. And Chronic is here. What is up? I see it now. Looking over finally. Sorry. All the emojis. I'm looking at my website page instead of looking at all the emojis popping up on screen. Actually, I don't know if it does pop up on screen for Sports Talk. Speaking of which, because I know Chronic is a big loud wrestling fan. I don't know where my voice was going with that one. But here's my thinking on the big news of Sasha Banks and Naomi. I mean, personal feelings. Sometimes you gotta do what you have to. You have to do what's right for you. And if walking out and handing the titles over because you're both major talents that were promised one thing and not having this, like, I get it. I get their stance. I do. And I support their stance. I'm just more intrigued to see what follows from this aftermath. WWE with their smear campaign. Is it a gimmick? Is it not? A lot of people think it's not, and I think it's not. I think they deserve more respect. Of all of the four horsemen, or horsewomen, I should say. The four horsewomen. Which is Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, and Bayley. Sasha was always shown the talent, but it always felt like she was the one that had to lose for everyone else. Granted, Bayley would also fall in that category, but Sasha was always the one that always seemed to lose. So how do I think it will play out? Personally, I think something will resolve itself in this. I just don't know what it is. Because you can't really just have them walk back like nothing happened. You kind of need something to happen. You need. I mean, essentially, they're just living life right now. Naomi was rumored to be part of the table. What do you do? But you could always email your thoughts at birosportstalk@gmail.com. Let alone hit up all the social platforms. On that note of not knowing what to do, of course, I hope you all have a great Thursday. I love these quick Thursdays. They're quick. More than likely, Sasha doesn't get signed. Naomi gets re-signed. Yeah, and honestly, I think that's what would be best. I feel like Sasha needs more push than she's been given in recent years. Because granted, Charlotte's always on top. Sasha's always on top. Or not Sasha. Becky is always on top. You see 2 of the 4 always on top. You want to be on top as well. And Sasha keeps getting put into random tag teams. I get it. And I think she would probably do very well with a scene change right now. Problem is, where does she go? Where would she be utilized best? Because I've heard bad things about how AEW is treating the women for some reason. I didn't read into it. I just saw a title like, hey, they're not being scheduled right. The title's being rotated too much. But I do think Sasha would bring a big draw wherever she goes. The boss will bring a draw. But like I said, I'll see you guys sometime this weekend, hopefully. Honestly, Impact would be a very good choice. I think that's what makes a lot of sense, because a lot of guys are going to Impact as well when it's not AEW. I mean, right? They handled their women better. They historically, I think, have, because there's been a lot of great TNA women wrestlers that just weren't handled properly back in the Divas era that probably would have been handled better now, I think. But I agree. I think Impact would be a great place. Great place. Anyways, thank you for watching. I will see you guys this weekend. Hopefully we'll get one step closer to finishing Final Fantasy VI. I'm trying so bad to try to finish it. I know I don't have to finish it on stream, but it's about pride at this point. And the fact that I really don't remember like half this game. I beat it over 10 years ago for the first time, trying to beat it on stream, and man, do I not remember half the story. Still such a great story. But I'll see you guys then, and thank you for tuning in for another edition of Biro Sports Talk.